I'm George Curtis. Welcome to It's Your Law. Each week it's my privilege to bring guests that teach all of us a little bit about the process, how it's supposed to work, how it sometimes works and usually doesn't, and how we as citizens can do something to fix it. It's my privilege today to have a gentleman, a lawyer, and a judge. That's quite a bit for one suit, isn't it? And he is a judge that I've known for a good long time and have a great deal of respect for, and he's now retiring, but kind of at the prime of his life, and I want to thank him for his service. I want you to hear from him about what got him into the law and being a judge and his reflections and plan for his future, because he looks pretty healthy to me. I think he's got another 25 years, and I want to know where he's going with it. He might be my competitor. Anyway, his name is Bill Carver. Welcome to the show.
How do you do, George?
Well, when I came to this town a little over 40 years ago, it seems to me that there were a couple of young fellows practicing law on Main Street, across from the bank building where I was hired to work, Heron and Carver. That's you, isn't it?
That's right. Joe Heron and Bill Carver.
And tell me how you got into the law and how you ended up practicing there and what happened from there, because it's been kind of an interesting trip.
Well, it's been a strange trip, put it that way, but Joe Heron and I met on a baseball field, and he told me that he was moving to Madison to go to law school, and I started thinking, well, maybe that's a good idea for me. So it wasn't anything that I had planned. It wasn't like a young person thinking I always want to be a lawyer and my dad was a lawyer, that kind of thing. But I sort of got into it by, if you want to call it an accident, and it just took off from there. I enjoyed the law school, and I enjoyed getting back to Oshkosh to try to practice law.
And then you were in the DA's office initially, weren't you?
Right. I started out not long after we opened our office downtown, Mr. Heron and I was asked to come up and, quote, help out in the DA's office as an assistant. And the interesting story was Joe Heron, who was a good friend, he told me, he says, Bill, don't take that job. And I said, well, why, Joe? You know, I could use a few extra dollars. He said, well, you know, you're going to go to that courthouse and you'll never leave it. And I'll never forget him saying that. And I said, oh, come on, George, this is just a half-time job. It's going to be a few dollars. I'll get some insurance for the family, and I'll be back here to practice law. But Joe was apparently right. This is 44 years later, I'm still there.
Well, then, didn't you run for district attorney as well, didn't you?
Yes, 1970. And ran for district attorney and ran twice for district attorney.
And then ran against Judge Sitter, if I recall, and became a judge. What year was that?
That'd be, the election would have been in 73. I took office in January of 74.
So that's quite a while that you have been judge.
That's right, a long time, 36 years as a judge. And then those almost 7 years, you know, part of that DA office job. That's
a long time for public service, and having had at least 5 people that have practiced law with me that have gone into the judiciary, I know they don't do it for the money. You're not particularly well paid, and you're living in a glass house, so that no matter what you do, there's some people that see some evil intent behind it, and you're not really in a position to fight back. Why do you do it?
Well, just to clarify things, nowadays I think we're well paid in comparison to private attorneys and many people practicing law. When I started out, I got to admit that I didn't get into it to make money. We got into these jobs years ago to meet the rest of the lawyers and to kind of figure out how to practice law and become acquainted with the community, because your intent was to get back downtown and practice law, and you wanted some recognition. And that's how you did it years ago, and it wasn't very well paid.
When did the pay start improving, and why?
It started probably around 1980. We started getting additional raises, and they tried to make some comparisons with other states and things like that. And I think that's when the pay started to increase. And we've been getting percentage increases for quite a few years now. So I'm the last 10 years, I certainly have no complaint over our salaries.
Is the salary all paid by the state or partly by the county?
Now it's all paid by the state. When I started out, it was partly paid by the county.
How much is the current salary?
Well, you're asking a tough question now. I think it's around 125, 129,000.
All right, now that is a respectable salary. At the same time, somebody in private practice, I think if they were willing to work like a dog, could make more money than that. How about the fringes? Is there a decent retirement program?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be retiring in 2 months, and I believe I'll have a larger retirement check than I have working. And so I've been kind of helping everybody out here by working. But it does build up over the years, and the Wisconsin retirement program is excellent. You've got all your municipal people involved in that program. You've got not only municipal, you've got teachers, and everybody else is in this program, and it's been invested just in just a wonderful way that I think every municipal and state employee should be well pleased by their retirement programs.
Well, I'm glad that you feel that way, and I'm glad that we are paying enough to keep good people on the bench. But then that gets to the next question. Why are you leaving at the prime of life? I have to believe you're at the prime of life. I've recently tried a case in front of you. You certainly are on the top of your game, and you not only look younger than me, I know you're younger than I am.
Well, not much, George. I'm to the point now where I think I should retire, and I'm 72 years old, so it's time to try to get out and maybe get involved in a few other things and just sit back and find out what's coming next.
Well, let's take our first break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you what's coming next.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be right back.